Sagittarius, what's going on with you? Come on in, have a seat, make yourself comfortable. My name's Alan Hill from UnknownTruthTarot.com. Welcome back to another Sagittarius love reading. Today we are going to take a look at the status of the love connection between you and your romantic person of interest here in October 2025. So let's get started. Let's get one card for what is the mutual point of interest between Sagittarius and their romantic person of interest here in October 2025, please. Thank you. What's going on with you, Saggy? It has been a minute. I moved back from Texas to Ohio again about 3 months ago. Not long after I got back, I got incredibly ill. Thought I was going to die for a minute. I lost about 50 pounds, like way too fast. Was not trying to. I'm feeling about 85% now. This is the first time I've felt like doing much of anything or been able to do much of anything. I've finally gained about 15 pounds back, which is nowhere near enough, but I'm at least on the right track now. So let's take a look at what is going on with you here in this connection in October 2025. Let's get 3 cards. What's going on with Sagittarius as it relates to their romantic person of interest and the connection between them? Okay. Pretty quick and easy. What is going on with your person, Saggy? What's going on with Sagittarius' romantic person of interest as it relates to Sagittarius and the connection between the two of them here in October 2025? All right. Well, on the bottom of the deck, the overall energy of this reading is the Chariot. This is the Cancer Major Arcana card. This is the fastest moving energy in the whole tarot deck. It's very fast forward movement. At its core, this card is about the underlying will to overcome the problems or the obstacles or the stuff that's in your way. It's about using willpower to get past all of that stuff and move forward very fast in success and victory. Now, there's also like an imbalance in this kind of an energy. In a standard tarot deck like the one I'm going to use to clarify with, there's a black sphinx and a white sphinx. And that represents the shadow side of a person and the light side of a person. And the driver doesn't have any reins to control the thing, so he uses willpower alone to steer it and control it. And if both of those parts of himself, if that shadow side and the light side are not in alignment and pulling in the same direction, this thing isn't the fastest moving energy anymore. It's every bit as stuck as the Hanged Man. It doesn't go anywhere. Or worse yet, it'll tear itself in half by pulling in different directions as it tries to move forward. So there is this underlying will to overcome some problem here, but there's potentially a misalignment as well. Right below that, we have the Ten of Cups. This is Pisces energy. This is most people's goal in terms of love and relationships. It's about being combined together emotionally with someone, pouring yourselves into each other equally, where they love you every bit as hard as you love them, and it's like everyone's happy and fully in love and fully content. This is the happy fairy tale ending, the happy fairy tale romance, happily ever after. The problem with this energy is it is the card that gets us in more trouble than just about any card in the whole deck, because we all want that happily ever after so badly that it's the thing that leads us to sweep the red flags under the rug and pretend like we didn't see these things that are happening, and we don't want that stuff to be true. If any of that kind of stuff is true, then this happily ever after thing can't be true, and I want this. So this leads us to delude ourselves, to be in denial sometimes. Very rarely when I'm doing a reading is this card talking to me about happily ever after. It's usually talking to me about someone's idealized point of view. I want this happily ever after so bad that I'm choosing to look at my relationship as if it were the Ten of Cups when it's really not. If you zoom out for a second and like detach emotionally from whatever your situation is for a second, let's just look at this logically and rationally for a second. If you really had the Ten of Cups, there wouldn't be an obstacle to overcome. If you really had the Ten of Cups, you wouldn't even be here watching a tarot love reading, because you wouldn't need guidance on what to do. You would already know that you're fully happy and fully loved and everything's totally awesome in the way that you want it to be. The fact that you're here watching a tarot reading is proof positive that you don't actually have the Ten of Cups. So there's some obstacle here that you want to get past in order to get to this Ten of Cups. I got Queen of Cups right behind it, which is Cancer energy again. It's a person who has a lot of love and emotions for another person, and they want to pour their love and emotions into them. Usually it's a guarded kind of an energy, though. It's like normally in a normal tarot deck, she's got a lid on top of her cup. She's the only character that has the lid, and that's a way to protect her emotions from getting contaminated. She doesn't want something to get in her emotions and mess her up and cause her pain because she's been there before. So we've got two cards in a row that are like as close to true love and happiness as you could possibly get when they're combined. But there's some problem. There's something that needs overcome that's in the way. I got the Two of Cups right behind it. This is another Cancer energy. I'm seeing a lot of Cancer already. You might be dealing with the Cancer. Hell, you might be dealing with any sign. This is a general collective reading, so it's going to be impossible for me to pin down exactly who you're dealing with as an individual person, because I'm not tapping into your specific energy as an individual person the same way I would if I were doing a personal reading for you and it's just you and me. Here, I'm tapping into thousands of Sagittarius people all at the same time. So I'm going to continue to call the signs out as they stick out to me just in case they mean anything to you. But this is Cancer energy. It's an emotional connection between two people. However, it's also a two, and twos represent choices. So this is some sort of a choice about the connection, or it's even a choice between more than one person here. So I got a lot of emotions here, a lot of four water energies in a row, actually 5 in a row if we count this Knight of Cups. Actions toward love and emotions, moving forward with romantic offers and gestures, trying to advance romantically in some way. But there's some obstacle that needs overcome. That's the gist of what it looks like this is going to talk to me about. We might come back to that as we go along. In fact, I'm sure we probably will. But this shared energy is energy that affects both of you in some way here in October 2025, Sagittarius. It doesn't always affect you same way. Sometimes they do this and you feel the consequences of it. Sometimes they say or do something and you start to feel or act this way, or vice versa even. Sometimes it's something external that's affecting you both. But that shared energy for you is the Five of Swords. This is Aquarius energy. Fives are conflict. This is usually a betrayal. It can be a big fight that ends things. This can be someone who has this winning at all cost mentality where I'm going to get what I want no matter what, and collateral damage is fine with me. If you happen to get hurt in order for me to get what I want, well, sorry about your luck. So this is at its core some sort of a mentally and psychologically painful situation or event, which is bringing me back to this problem that we need to overcome and get past in order to get to this idealized point of view of the Ten of Cups. And again, it's making me say it. If you really have the Ten of Cups and it's real, this would not be your shared energy. Betrayal, mental, psychological pain does not fit with the real Ten of Cups. So it's another hint that something is not quite what you might think it is. So I'm going to clarify this Five of Swords and see what we got going on. Tell me more about Five of Swords. Why is that the shared energy between Sagittarius and their person of interest? Okay, we'll take you first. Got one more in here. Normally I get 3 clarifiers. I just got 5. Underlying this mental, psychological pain, betrayal, big fight, whatever that mentally and psychologically painful situation or event is, underlying that is the Four of Wands. This is Aries energy. Fours are stability. So this is stability of the home life, stability of the family life, stability of the connection between the two of you. These 4 wands represent 1111, which is the number of manifesting. In the wands, the 2, 3, and 4 of wands are the story of manifesting. This is the final stage of manifesting, where the thing that I want has appeared in front of me. It's stable in the physical reality, and I can celebrate its arrival. A lot of times this gets referred to as a marriage card. It's a celebration of home and family. So there's some element of stability in this connection between the two of you, underlying this, what's looking like betrayal here. Behind the 4 of Wands is the 4 of Swords. This is Libra energy. It's about taking a pause, taking a rest, taking a break. It's about choosing to go inside yourself to do some thinking about something, to figure something out, or to go inside yourself and do some healing about something. Again, it's a 4, so it's a stability energy. Swords represent the mind or the thoughts, so this would be stabilizing the thoughts, stabilizing the mind, trying to calm the mind down so I can figure out what to do. I get this card a lot when someone is doing way too much thinking. There's too much noise going on in their mind, and that stops you from being able to hear your intuition. It stops you from being able to hear your internal guidance. And this is instructions to like, shh, just calm down, stop thinking so much, and the answer will kind of reveal itself to you. I've got the star right behind it, which is another card of healing. This is the Aquarius Major Arcana card. It's hope, it's healing, it's sometimes wish fulfillment. It's also the card that comes immediately after the Tower in the sequence of the Major Arcana. So you don't make it to the star energy without the collapse of the Tower happening first. So I know something bad has happened between the two of you, not just because we have some obstacle to overcome, some problem to get past, but also because I've got this 5 of Swords, mental, psychological pain, betrayal energy. I know the Tower has happened now because the star is here. This is the hope and the healing. It's also an indicator that you're not really going to be able to heal until the acceptance of the Tower. You can't get to the healing and the wish fulfillment part without the destruction of the old coming first. When I clarify this 5 of Swords, I get the Page of Cups, the Devil, the 2 of Wands, the 8 of Swords, and the Fool. The Page of Cups. Pages are messengers. This would be news, messages, and communications about love and emotions. It can be lovey-dovey messages. It can be flirtatious behavior. It can be expressing feelings or emotions. It's also a page, which is the lowest form of the court card. So this is not fully developed all the way energy. This can be the early stages of some love connection where we're just at the stage of talking about it and sending the lovey-dovey messages, expressing feelings. It can also represent a person who's not fully emotionally mature all the way, not fully developed all the way. Can sometimes even represent an apology, which would make sense if I have betrayal or psychological pain here as the shared energy affecting you both, and then this idea of overcoming the problem. This could be an apology. I don't think it is. Another thing that this can represent, that you can see he's got a fish in his cup, and that's kind of like sleight of hand. He's not fully emotionally mature, so he can't really handle the weight of your gaze looking him in the eyes. So it's usually like a, hey, look over here and get distracted so you can't see into the windows of my soul here and figure out what's actually going on. It's not a good thing when it's sitting next to the Devil. The Devil is the Capricorn Major Arcana card. This is heavy, toxic energy. This can be obsession. It can be an addiction to something. It can be a feeling of being trapped by something, feeling like I can't escape from something. It's an energy of control, but this is not about being in control as much as it's about something else having control of me and feeling helpless and feeling like there's nothing that I can do. The people on the card are the same 2 people from the Lover's card, but here they have chains around their necks and they've grown horns and tails because they've been in this toxic environment for so long that it's starting to distort them. It's starting to change who they are. It's bringing me back to this 10 of Cups again. Again, if that's the real 10 of Cups, the Devil does not come with that. Usually when I see the 10 of Cups and the Devil in the same vicinity in the spread like this is a very like illusion-based energy. It's very good at tricking us into thinking that this is something that we want, thinking that it's the 10 of Cups, when in reality it's some level of unhealthy, toxic attachment, toxic bondage here. I'm feeling like I can't escape from these emotions that I have. Central to all of this clarifiers is the 2 of Wands. This is Aries energy. Twos are choices. This is a fork in the road. It's a crossroads in your lives. It's a crossroads in this connection. It's a decision point. And it's a decision about what do I want my world to be like and which one of these two paths is going to get me to that. But it's more than that because you can't turn left and right at the same time. So it's not just about which path am I going to go down, but which path am I going to leave behind? And I see people make this mistake a lot as they choose this path and then they change their mind and switch to this path, and then they change their mind and they just bebop back and forth between the paths and never move forward. There's psychological pain, potentially betrayal tied to that. Right beside that choice about what do I want is the devil, some level of toxicity here, some level of unhealthy attachment to something. And notice this choice is a wand energy, and wands represent passion, desire. The wand is the phallic symbol of the deck, so it represents the male you-know-what and using it to do you-know-what and sexual energy and all that stuff. So this is some sort of a choice about desire even here, especially with the devil next to it, and feeling like maybe I don't have any control in the choice of how my life is going to turn out. I know I want it a certain way, but don't feel like I have the choice in the matter. I feel bound and stuck and chained to something, like I can't escape from it. Next, I have the Eight of Swords, which is Gemini energy. This is about thinking about something over and over and over again on this repeating loop in your mind, and feeling stuck and trapped and blocked because I don't want to make a mistake and step in the wrong spot, but the person's blindfolded, which means there's data that I'm missing. I don't see everything. I don't know. It's like reading a government document that's been redacted and there's all the black permanent marker lines through it, and like you read it, but there's only like 6 words on the page, so it doesn't make any damn sense, and you got all these blanks that you have to fill in. And this would be like, I don't know everything and I don't want to make a mistake here, so I'm like overthinking it and over analyzing it, trying to figure out what to do, trying to figure out what path do I go down and what path do I leave behind. But when you have the devil with that, that's a very unhealthy level of overthinking. It's like obsessing on something, obsessing on the choice about what I want. But then it could also reference obsessing on this painful thing, this betrayal that's happened, or maybe not seeing all the elements of that and now feeling stuck and trapped and blocked because I don't know what to do here. The final clarifier here is the Fool. This is the first card of the major arcana, card 0. It's the first card of the whole tarot deck. It's a legitimate new beginning on something where I don't really know what the steps are. I don't know what the end result is going to be. And I'm just taking this blind leap of faith on something. I'm just leaping off the cliff, and I'll worry about how to grow wings on my way down. Like, I'll figure this out as I go. It can also represent foolish behavior, foolish decision making, taking unnecessary risks, or even taking risks outside of the connection. Okay, it's not uncommon at the early stages of these readings that I don't fully understand everything this is trying to tell me yet, although I'm starting to get what feels like a pretty good handle on it. I will come back to this as I go through your energy, Sagittarius, because then I'll be able to see how that relates to you. I will come back to it again when I go through your person's energy, because then I'll be able to see how it applies to them. That's the shared energy in your connection here in October 2025. Sagittarius, your first card is the most important. You get the Queen of Wands, central to your energy, 9 of Swords, and your final card is the 8 of Pentacles. The Queen of Wands is either Leo or Aries energy. I guess this could represent your energy. This is a bold, passionate, fiery, determined person who knows exactly what she wants. She typically does not take no for an answer. She's really driven and motivated, go-getter. She's usually someone who's very charming and good-looking and sexy and attractive and fun to be around, like life of the party kind of an energy. It's also the fire element queen. In other words, the hot queen, the person that there would be attraction and desire for and sexual energy toward. A lot of times when I get this card, it represents the other woman. In other words, the one that there's attraction and desire for, especially when I have betrayal as the shared energy, a choice between these two things that I want. And maybe some lovey-dovey communications, some flirty behavior, some element of toxicity here. The Fool could be taking a blind leap of faith, taking risks outside of the connection. Hard to tell yet exactly what that is, so let me clarify it for you. Tell me more about the Queen of Wands. Why is that the first card for Sagittarius here in October 2025, please? Make sure nothing else flipped here. Okay. Normally I get 3 clarifiers. I just got 5. For that one, I just got 5 when I clarified this shared energy. Clearly this Queen of Wands is important. Underlying this Queen of Wands energy, Ace of Pentacles. This is a new physical opportunity presenting itself. This is not an idea or a concept. It's something physical, something tangible, something I can reach out and touch. It's also the seed of abundance. So this is something that has the potential to grow into the 10 of Pentacles, which would be like combined together life, building a life together. It is not the 10 of Pentacles in and of itself. It's something that has the potential to get there, but it's an ace, so it represents something that you have to grab and take advantage of and put to use. Otherwise, it's just empty potential here. What this is looking like already is some new physical opportunity shows up with some attractive person here, someone that there's like attraction, passion, desire toward. Underlying, yeah, that's it, because underlying this Ace of Pentacles, this new opportunity showing up, is the 5 of Swords, and that is the shared energy affecting you both. So here it is in both decks now. Again, mental psychological pain at its core, but this is usually a betrayal or a big fight or someone who has set the situation up to that it's like in their favor and not yours, and you're going to get taken advantage of. It's some mentally painful thing. And right behind that is the 4 of Pentacles, which is Capricorn energy of holding on tightly to something, not wanting to let go of it. When I clarify this Queen of Wands, I get the 8 of Pentacles, Strength, 9 of Pentacles, 3 of Pentacles, and the Hermit. The 8 of Pentacles is Virgo energy of work, putting in the work, the time, effort, and energy on something to get what I want, or at the minimum, being willing to put that work in order to get what I want. I realize this is your energy, it's your side of the table. It is very common that the first card and the whole first column of clarifiers ends up being something from your person's energy, and it's showing up first in that prominent position for you, because whatever it is that they're doing with this person is having a pretty big effect on you. I don't know if this is saying that you're looking for an opportunity and you want an opportunity to try to put the work in on this. It doesn't make sense if what you want is an opportunity to betray the person and hold on to them. I don't think that's it. I don't think I went deep enough either. I got the 10 of Wands next, Sagittarius energy of a heavy burden that you're carrying. It's something weighing you down and holding you back. That's tied to the idea of holding on tightly to something and not wanting to let go of it. 10s are completions, and that represents that this is supposed to be the completion of you carrying this burden. In other words, it's the spot where you're supposed to lay the burden down and move on without it, but in front of it is this idea of holding on to it and not wanting to let go of it, even though there is a betrayal and a new opportunity here. Now, this could be telling me that you want to work on it still. It could also be telling me that what your person has been working on is this hot queen, this person they have attraction to. Either way, it leads to strength. And this is really feeling like a dual message here. This is a Leo Major Arcana card. It can represent going through a very difficult situation that's so hard, it's like requiring you to dig down deep inside yourself and tap into all your internal strength in order to make it through it. It can also represent a person who's trying to tame this beast inside themselves, like they're trying to rein themselves in and hold themselves back so they don't do something stupid and make some kind of a mistake that they regret later. So it can be like that struggle against a piece of myself where I'm trying to contain it. But then I get the 9 of Cups, 9 of Pentacles. This is more Virgo energy. This is a step backwards from the Ten of Pentacles. And the Ten of Pentacles is most people's goal in the physical reality. It's maximum stability, abundance, prosperity. It's also the combining together of two people or two families and all their assets and resources, building a life together. This is a step back from that. This is single energy. This is about being physically single, physically independent. I don't need you to take care of me physically or financially. I can do that. It might represent that you're having a difficult time with being single after what's happened, especially if you're still trying to overcome the obstacle to get to this idealized point of view of the Ten of Cups, and maybe even still operating from the mentality of, I do have the Ten of Cups with this person. I just have to get past this betrayal and this other woman. A lot of times I get this card and it doesn't represent someone who is single as much as it represents someone who is presenting themselves as if they're single in the physical world, but when they're not single. I do have this distortion energy here tied to this idea of flirty behavior, lovey-dovey communication, some sort of a choice between these two things that I want. And then taking the blind leap of faith is also here. The next clarifier for Queen of Wands is Three of Pentacles. This is Capricorn energy. This is teamwork, collaboration, working together as equals to build something of value. Typically, this is laying the foundations for building that Ten of Pentacles, but working together as equals to do that. Don't know that that's what's going on because I got this single energy here. I got this new opportunity presenting itself that leads to betrayal. Maybe this is a case of you guys were at some point working together to lay the foundations for combining lives together, but now something difficult has happened, painful has happened, something toxic is going on, and maybe there's parts of it that you don't see yet. Maybe that's what the blindfold is trying to tell me. This will clear itself up as we go, so hang in there with me. Final clarifier is the Hermit, which is Virgo's major arcana card. This is a card of withdrawal, isolation. Sometimes this represents communication shutting down. I get this card a lot for somebody when they get ghosted and the person just abruptly leaves. I get this card a lot when you don't have closure for this painful thing that's happened, this difficult situation you're struggling with and still maybe wanting to work through. At its core, this card is usually about something happens and it forces you inside yourself to do some soul searching and some deep inner reflection and some deep contemplation. It's about looking down inside the shadows of yourself and trying to figure out what adjustments do I need to make to me so I can move forward the way I want. This could just as easily be 1 minute we're working together as equals and the next minute they just get the hell out of Dodge and they're gone lickety split and I get ghosted and I don't have any closure, which would definitely put you in a spot where you're missing some information and now I'm stuck and I don't know what to do. Grinding on it in circles, especially with the devil here, some element of obsessing about it. Central to your energy, Sagittarius, we get the Nine of Swords. This is Gemini energy of fear, worry, and anxiety, thinking about something. It's a stage worse than the Eight of Swords because it's not just thinking about something over and over again. It's doing that with all this fear and worry behind your thoughts and doing that to the point that it becomes stressful. This is a card of mental anguish, can be sleepless nights, nightmares, can't concentrate on what I'm doing, can't eat. Very not pleasant energy to go through. Tell me more about the Nine of Swords. Why is that central for Sagittarius's energy in this connection for October 2025, please? Come here. Well, underlying this Nine of Swords energy, Three of Cups. This is Cancer energy. This card has two very distinct meanings. The first meaning is about being together. It's about being united and celebrating, or even reunited and celebrating. So in that sense, it can be reconciliation energy. Could be that you're worried and fearful and can't stop thinking about reconciliation, but maybe even worried about whether that's going to happen or not. The other meaning to this card is it can represent a third party love triangle, because we do have 3 cups of love in the picture here. That's probably where the betrayal comes from. That's probably where this choice between these 2 things and which one of them is going to lead me to what I want, what I desire. Right behind the 3 of Cups is the Star, which is the Aquarius Major Arcana card. This is a card of hope. It's a card of healing. It's sometimes a card of wish fulfillment. Could be that that's what your wish fulfillment is, to having the hope that we can heal this connection, that we can become reunited and celebrate. Could also be that you're having all this fear, worry, and anxiety and stressing out about whether or not we can recombine and celebrate. This is also the card that comes immediately after the Tower in the sequence of the major arcana. So you don't make it to the Star energy without the Tower happening first, without the collapse of some important structure in your life. It all comes crashing down all around you. You can't skip that step. You can't just get to the healing without the destruction of the old happening first. Now, when I clarify this 9 of Swords energy, the fear, worry, and anxiety and stress, I get the 9 of Wands, 7 of Swords, King of Wands. The 9 of Wands is Sagittarius energy. This is about being walled off and defensive. It's also a card of healing, because this is the wounded warrior. You can see he's been hurt. He has a bandage around his head. He's using one of the wands to stabilize himself and hold himself up. But he's also built this wall around himself as a way to protect himself so he doesn't get hurt anymore. He doesn't want to be hurt. He's trying to heal so he can get his energy right to move forward and take the next step in his journey, which is that 10 of Wands that we saw, where he reaches the destination and can lay the burden down and move on without it. So that wall can represent that you have been hurt and that you don't want to be hurt anymore, which is probably why you're having fear, worry, and anxiety and stressing out about either the 3rd cup of love being here, or being worried about whether or not we can get past this barrier, whether we can overcome the obstacle and get back together and heal this or not. It's also sitting right beside the idea of work, putting in the work, time, effort, and energy on something, working on it. And there's a barrier in the way of that, and maybe you're worried about that barrier and whether we can get past it. Maybe you're also worried about not getting hurt by trying to work on the thing that you want, but something is clearly wrong and you have been clearly hurt here. Definitely going through something hard, probably been forced inside yourself to search your soul. Like, this isn't a choice. This is not a voluntary energy that we don't just wake up one day and go, oh, it's nice outside today, I think I'm going to do some soul searching. It doesn't work that way. Something happens and it forces that upon us. What usually happens is 5 of Swords, the Tower, 10 of Swords, something, 7 of Swords, something bad. 7 of Swords is the Aquarius energy here. This is lying, cheating, deception, sneaking around behind your back, trying to get away with something that I shouldn't be trying to get away with. That's how you end up with the 3rd cup of love, and like you sneak around behind your back to go that way. Now, that's not the only meaning of the card. Sometimes this card can represent self-preservation, as in I don't want to get hurt, which is kind of what this is about. I don't want to get hurt, hence the wall I've built. This is like, I don't want to get hurt, hence me stealing these swords, like to make sure they can't be used against me to hurt me. And notice he's stealing 5 swords. The 5 of Swords is the shared energy. It's the mentally and psychologically painful thing. I'm trying to make sure that I can't get hurt by that again, because I'm still struggling from that already. Now, if this is a dual message and it's talking to you about your person here, they probably struggled to contain themselves. Like, the lion represents some like primal urge, some primal desire. And this lady in the white gown represents the conscience, the ability to tell right from wrong. And she's trying to tame the beast so it doesn't make a mistake and do something that you'll regret later. This is probably a reference to your person struggling to contain that piece of themselves that The Devil card shows that they weren't in control of as it relates to a choice about passion, desire. And they probably lost that struggle and snuck around behind your back, is what it looks like. Presented themselves as single when they weren't. The next clarifier here for the Nine of Swords is the King of Wands. This is Leo energy. This is a bold, passionate, fiery, determined person who knows what he wants. He ain't the dude that's going to take no for an answer. He ain't the dude who's going to let some minor obstacle get in his way. This is the dude who's going to find a way to get what he wants, or he's going to make a way to get what he wants. It's also the pinnacle of that wand suit. And like I said, the wand is the phallic symbol of the deck. The male you-know-what, using it to do you-know-what, sexual energy. This is the upper echelon of that energy. So it's someone who's not just driven and motivated in the normal sense. They're very driven and motivated by passion, desire, and sexual energy. It is the counterpart to this Queen of Wands here. The counterparts in the passion and desire end of things. Tied directly to lying and cheating and sneaking around. Tied directly to the idea of presenting myself as single when I'm not single. I read this to you in columns, but then I connect it in rows as I go down. And so far, the only thing that doesn't have anything to connect with it is this idea of us working together as equals to build the foundations for a combined together life. And you not getting answers, like communication breaking down. Either you got ghosted, you have no closure about this working together, being forced inside yourself to do soul searching. The only thing beside that is just a gap in the information. And what's connected to that gap is the driven, motivated person and sneaking around and doing deceptive stuff. So it could be that you're worried that that's the obstacle that maybe you're not going to be able to get past. I'm not sure yet. Final card for you, Sagittarius, is the Eight of Pentacles. Again, Virgo energy of work. Putting in the work, putting in the time, effort, and energy to get what I want, or at least being willing to do that. Tell me about this Eight of Pentacles. Why is that the final card for Sagittarius, please? I think these are backwards. Okay. It's not like I hear a voice in my head. It's not like I have some guardian angel sitting on my shoulder. I know you hear a lot of readers talk about my spirit guides, and you'll even see some of them pretend like they're talking to Archangel Michael or something. When it's just an act. That's not really what they're doing. They're just trying to make themselves look cool. It's mostly their own ego getting in the way. But I end up getting a feeling. It's almost like when you touch your tongue to a 9-volt battery, that jolt that it gives you. I get that like in my chest or in my shoulder somewhere. And like that let me know I had those two backwards. Underlying this idea of putting in the work on something, I get the Ace of Pentacles, which is a new physical opportunity presenting itself. Again, this is not like an idea. This is a physical thing that I can touch showing up. So this could be that you want to work on it. You want an opportunity to work on it, an opportunity to get past this problem so we can get to this 10 of Cups. But again, I feel like I'm supposed to tell you everything. If you have the real 10 of Cups, you don't have betrayal in that mix. If you have the real 10 of Cups, you don't have the devil in that mix. If you have the real 10 of Cups, you don't get ghosted or left without closure. You don't have another woman in the picture. You don't have fear, worry, and anxiety and stress. And you damn sure don't have lying and cheating and deception in the mix with that. So I don't know. I know a lot of people watch tarot not because they want the truth. They watch tarot because they're looking for somebody to punch their fantasy card, to validate their fantasy for them and tell them everything they want to hear is going to happen. If that's what you're looking for, you're at the wrong spot, because I am not that dude. I'm not here to tell anybody what they want to hear or try to blow smoke up your ass and twist the meanings of the cards around to force fit it into this, rainbows and unicorn farts happily ever after story. I'm here to get you the truth, which is why my channel is called Unknown Truth Tarot. I'm here to get you the truth and the clarity that you need so you can make the decisions that are in your own best interest. And I can't help you if I'm going to sugarcoat this dog turd and feed it to you and tell you it's a Snickers bar when it's not. So I have to tell you the actual truth about it here. As much as it might hurt, we have this physical opportunity presenting itself, and behind that is the heavy burden, the Sagittarius 10 of Wands. Something is weighing you down and holding you back. It's the idea of the opportunity to work on it and to overcome the obstacle. And the burden is behind that. It's this belief that this is the happily ever after. The thing that's weighing you down is trying to look at the connection for how you wish it was instead of how it actually is. I have the Hierophant behind that heavy burden, the commitment. This is Taurus Major Arcana. This is about being fully committed to the relationship, taking it to the next level. This is oftentimes labeled as a marriage card. Being fully, it doesn't have to be legally married. It can just be, I'm fully committed to this. I want to work on it. I want an opportunity here. But there's a burden in between the opportunity and the commitment. A burden attached to the opportunity. I think that physical opportunity is this Queen of Wands. I think that was the clarifier in the underlying energy when I clarified that hot queen, this other person that there's all the passion and desire for. Now, when I clarify this Eight of Pentacles, this let's put the work in on it and fix this, I get Justice, the Two of Cups, and the Nine of Swords. Justice is the Libra Major Arcana card. It's the most powerful card of balance in the deck. It's about doing the right, fair, just thing. The sword that's in the card is used to cut away something that's not in balance, so balance can be restored, and then the right, fair, just thing can happen. This card shows up to point out the fact that something unfair and unjust and unbalanced is going on, and it needs corrected. It's tied to the idea of putting in the work. So yeah, that would, from your point of view, like you're trying to get past the obstacle here, put in the work to correct this imbalance that we're having, this unfair thing that we're having. Even in this row, the first card in that row is the Eight of Pentacles from the other deck. So I've got this idea of putting in the work on it, both decks now, and it's all on your side of the table, which kind of eliminates it from being able to show up on their side of the table. The thing that's in between Justice and this idea of putting in the work here is the barrier that's in your way, the thing that's blocking you. That can just be a barrier that they're putting in the way. That could be saying that, hey, the actual, like you're trying to overcome some problem to get to this idealized point of view, and the actual thing that's in your way, the actual thing that's unbalanced, is this willingness to put the work in on it with someone who betrays you, who lies to you and cheats on you and sneaks around behind your back and follows his wand instead of his heart and pretends like he's single when he's not single and communicates in a lovey-dovey, flirtatious way with other people, and takes blind leaps of faith and foolish risks outside the connection. And it's going to get worse when I get to their side. I can already see it on the surface of their energy without going any deeper yet. The next clarifier for this idea of putting in the work is the Two of Cups, which is Cancer energy. This is an emotional connection between two people, but it's a two, so it's a choice. It's a choice about this connection between the two of you, or even a choice between more than one person. It's tied to the unfair, unjust, out of balance thing. To the left of it, it's also tied to lying, cheating, and deception and sneaking around with this other person. And the fact that they probably couldn't contain the urges and the impulses and the animalistic desires that they have. Final clarifier for the idea of putting in the work on it is the Nine of Swords, Gemini energy, fear, worry, and anxiety, thinking about it over and over again with all the fear and worry behind your thoughts and doing that to the point that it's stressful. Notice the lady on the card has her eyes covered. She doesn't want to face the situation she's in. It's so bad in her mind that she doesn't want to look at it, and she's refusing to look at it. I'm clarifying the Eight of Pentacles, and that's the last clarifier in that column. And the card sitting right beside the Eight of Pentacles is the Nine of Swords from the other suit. So again, the idea of working on it is tied to all this mental anguish. And it's also tied to the barrier that's in your way and the imbalanced thing here. But then also what's connected to this Nine of Swords and the clarifiers is that King of Wands, that person that's driven and motivated by his wand and the sexual energy. And also in that same row is a person who's acting single when they're not single. And again, I've gone through your entire 3 cards, clarified them all, and these 2 have nothing to go with it. The idea of working together as equals, and it's got a void beside it, which means you're not working together as equals. You're the one putting in all the work and effort on this. You're doing this we, us thing by yourself, and they're probably off working on something different. Clearly they are. And I don't know if they ghosted you and just, like the Chariot's the fastest energy. Sometimes that's just getting the hell out of Dodge. So I don't know if they ghosted you. I don't know if you just don't have closure yet. But closure is something that you create for yourself. It's not something that they can give you. Even if they apologize, that's not really going to give you closure. You have to create your own closure. That's the real obstacle for you, I think. Well, that and getting past this idea of thinking that you can balance it out and you can be the one to put in all the work to balance it out. All the work is on your side. I'm using 2 decks. The work card is out here in both decks in your side. That means it can't even show up over here. That's your energy in this connection, Sagittarius. Let's scoot this over and take a look at your person's energy, because this is going to tell you what you need to know, I'm sure. First card in their energy is the most important. We get the Wheel of Fortune. Central to their energy, 8 of Swords, and their final card is the Empress. The Wheel of Fortune. In terms of zodiac signs, this represents the 4 fixed signs: Leo, Taurus, Aquarius, and Scorpio. This is a change in the luck and fortune. So if things are going great, this is that pivotal moment where the wheel spins the other way and it wraps around the telephone pole unexpectedly. If things are already going bad and this card comes out, it can be an indicator that someone's trying to turn the wheel the other way and correct course and put us back on track. The other meaning to this card besides change in luck and fortune is it can represent a repeating cycle of something happening again. Tell me more about this Wheel of Fortune. Why is that the first card here for Sagittarius's person of interest, please? Underlying the Wheel of Fortune, 4 of Swords, Libra energy. Taking a pause, taking a rest, taking a break. It's the minor arcana version of the Hermit card. I get this card a lot when someone has a breakup and they don't really want to officially call it a breakup, so they'll say, hey, we're on a break right now. We're just taking a pause right now. Could indicate that this could be turned around because we're just on a pause. That might be why you're over here thinking that we can put the work in on it, but worrying about how do we get past the barrier of the sneaky, deceptive, unfair stuff, the other person thing. Again, 4s represent stability and swords represent the thoughts or the mind. So this can be stabilizing the thinking, stabilizing the mind, trying to calm the mind down, trying to go inside myself to figure out what to do about this change here. It's a card of healing sometimes. I get the Star right behind it, which again is the Aquarius Major Arcana card. Hope, healing. There's this idea of pause or break and hope still in the background. Hope that it can be turned around. But there's this betrayal here, this devil energy here. Something is not adding up with this. I got the 4 of Wands right behind it. Stability of the home, stability of the family, stability of the connection, It's also 1111, which is the stage in manifesting where the thing that I want shows up and it's stable in the physical reality and I can celebrate its arrival. Three of Cups. Now, Cancer energy. Again, this can be reconciliation. It could be being reunited and celebrating. It can also represent a third party. Three Cups of Love are definitely in that picture right there. Yeah. And then I get Five of Pentacles. Taurus energy. This is abandonment. It's being cast aside, being left out in the cold, being discarded, walked away from. This is a breakup energy. That doesn't make sense. If I'm trying to have hope that we can heal this and get our stability back and get back together, why is this breakup still there? Why is this abandonment still there? This is looking like everything has changed. I'm taking a pause, and I'm hoping that this thing that I want is going to manifest itself in the physical reality. And ta-da, there's the third cup of love. And now I'm together with that person, which is probably where the betrayal comes from. I see the very first clarifier in that shared energy, which is affecting them, is lovey-dovey communications, being at the early stages of some new love thing where we're just talking about it, and this unhealthy attachment to that, this toxicity attached to that, this I'm not able to control it. It has control over me. And it has control over the choices about what I want. And then I grind on it and think in circles about it. And then screw it, I'm taking the leap of faith. That's probably the pivotal moment that changed everything and ran this all into the telephone pole, if I'm being honest about it. When I clarify the Wheel of Fortune, I get the King of Pentacles, the Page of Wands, and Temperance. The King of Pentacles is Taurus energy. Sometimes it's Virgo energy. It depends on how you view that and how the major arcana works. This is usually husband type energy. It doesn't necessarily have to mean you're legally married to this person, although you could be. This could just be that you're viewing them as husband material. They're like the person that's trying to build their life around you, or at least they were until something changed that. Looks like what changed it is this Page of Wands. This is news and messages and communications about passion and desire. Passionate messages. I've got lovey-dovey messages, passionate messages, both of them tied to this person. Betrayal is the shared energy. This is also the minor arcana version of the Fool card that's out here in the shared energy. It's a little bit more toned down than that. The Fool will just leap right off the cliff and say, screw it, and I'll figure this out as I go. This is usually a more toned down version where I have the willingness to take the very first steps down this brand new path towards something that I have passion and desire for. As far as I'm concerned, like, if you're in a relationship with someone and you even have the willingness to start communicating passionately with someone or expressing interest in someone else, expressing desire, you have the willingness to take the first steps of like lovey-dovey communications, that's already a betrayal, whether they go any farther with it or not. But clearly they did. The central card to your energy is lying, cheating, deception, tied to the person who doesn't think with his head or his heart, he thinks with his wand. Final clarifier for the Wheel of Fortune is Temperance. This is the Sagittarius Major Arcana card. It's a card of patience. It's about blending these two things together to make something new, but doing it little bits at a time. Not being in a big hurry, not being in a big rush, taking the first step on it, talking about what I want, talking about what I have desire for, expressing interest. This can sometimes represent like reconciliation. In tarot, water represents love. And here, the love has been separated into two different cups, and the angel's recombining it. Now, don't take that to mean that I'm predicting the future, that this person is coming back. First, I don't predict the future. Future prediction isn't real. It's a fantasy. The only way I could predict your future is if your future was already determined, and it's not, because your future is determined in the moments of your decisions. It's not determined by cards. It's not something that's already pre-written. If it was pre-written, your decisions would have no effect on your life, which means you could literally jump out the window of a 10-story building head first and it would have no effect. But we both know that's not true. If you do that, you're splattering all over the ground. So I'm not predicting that they're going to come back. What I'm saying is that this card can represent the idea of reconciliation, but more often than not, what this card is really talking about is something is way out of balance here. Definitely something is way out of balance here with the Devil card in the shared energy, this unbalanced, unfair thing being pointed out with the Justice card in your energy. Central to your energy period is Seven of Swords. The shared energy is betrayal. Clearly something is very out of balance, and this is a recalibration energy. It's like trying to recalibrate something or pointing out the need to recalibrate something. Central to your person's energy is the Eight of Swords, which is Gemini energy. It's right here in the shared energy affecting both of you. It's thinking about something over and over and over again with all this, like just the repeating loop in their mind and feeling stuck and trapped and blocked because I don't know what's the right move to make and I don't want to make a mistake, so I'm stuck grinding on it. Tell me about this Eight of Swords, please. Why is that shared energy, or why is that the central card? Underlying this Eight of Swords energy is the Hierophant. So they're grinding in circles about this commitment. This is the Taurus Major Arcana card. It represents commitment. It gets labeled as a marriage card. I've got King of Pentacles on their side, which could be husband energy. I don't see Queen of Pentacles. I don't actually see 10 of Pentacles anywhere. I have seen 4 of Wands a few times. So it wouldn't surprise me if you're married to this person. Hell, it wouldn't surprise me if this person is actually already married. And maybe you are the one that they have passion and desire for. Take that part however it fits your situation. Because it might be one way for you and the other way for the very next Sagittarius that shows up to watch this after you. But they're stuck in a loop, grinding about commitment and taking things to the next level. Yeah, behind that commitment is the Ace of Pentacles. That new physical opportunity showing up. So they don't know what to do because I'm in a commitment already, probably with you. And this new opportunity shows up. Now, remember, way back when I clarified your first card, this hot queen, this person there's all this attraction and desire for, the counterpart to their King of Wands here, this passion and desire counterparts, when I clarified her, this card was on the bottom of the deck then, the new physical opportunity showing up. So they're in a commitment, and now they've got this physical opportunity that presents itself, and hence the 10 of Wands, the heavy burden that's weighing them down and holding them back. They're stuck in the loop grinding on it and don't know what to do. Don't want to make a mistake about this choice about what they want their life to be like. But they got something else that's in control. They're not in control. Something else is in control. And if I had to take a guess, I'd bet you a cup of coffee that it's their wand, the passion and desire piece of them that's in control. When I clarify Eight of Swords, I get the Four of Pentacles, the Eight of Wands, and the Empress. I'm getting ahead of myself, but the Empress is the final card for them that I'll clarify next. This Four of Pentacles is Capricorn energy, holding on tightly to something, and I don't want to let go of it. It's tied directly to this idea of husband or being the person who's building a life around you. Don't want to let go of something in that regard. Now, the King of Pentacles, the Pentacles can represent money and finances and material possessions and assets and resources and things like that. They could have a lot of that. This could sometimes represent a business owner or someone who's wealthy, has their money in order, and maybe I don't want to lose any of that, and maybe I'm being greedy and stingy with that. But it could also be that they don't want to lose this marriage or this commitment with you. The problem is we get this Eight of Wands and the Empress next, and the Eight of Wands is Sagittarius energy, but this is the second fastest moving energy in the deck. The only thing faster than this is the Chariot. So I have literally the two fastest moving energies here. This can be rapid back and forth passionate communications. It's sitting right beside the Page of Wands, passionate messages, passionate communications, having the willingness to take the first step down a new path toward passion. And this is very fast movement in that regard. Can be rapid movement or progress towards something there's passion, desire for. It could just be a lot of communication. Could be travel over distance, or again, another version of that would be like just getting the hell out of here. But a lot of times this will be so much is happening so fast all at once that it's too much for them to process. It's too much to handle, and it can get really overwhelming. And then we get to the Empress, which is the mother of the tarot deck. She's always pregnant. She's always giving birth to something. In a relationship reading, she represents the birth of something new, as in the birth of a new connection. It's sitting right beside Temperance. Now, a lot of times when I do this, this will be like chronological order, in the sense that this first column is something that's already happened, and the closer I'm getting to the end, it's like the more and more current right now I'm getting to. So at the beginning, it looks like taking it really slow and not being in a hurry, and let's do this little drips at a time and make adjustments to it. But then suddenly it picks up the pace a lot, and we get straight into birthing something new, which is probably where we get to this betrayal happening, where we get to this sneaky deceptive thing, where we just say, screw it, I'm going to go for it, and I'll figure it out later. I'm going to take this risk outside of my connection here. I'm tired of being stuck in the loop and grinding on it. Again, the final card for them is the Empress again. The birth of something new. Here you can see she's actually birthed it. She's holding the baby in her hand, where here she's pregnant, but here she's already birthed this new thing into the physical world. What's going on with the Empress? Why is that the final card? What do we have here? Where'd you go? There it is. Underlying this Empress energy is the Star. Aquarius energy of hope, healing, potentially wish fulfillment. That's tied to the birth of something new. This is also the card that comes after the Tower, so you don't make it this far without the Tower collapsing and something important in their life falling apart and crashing down all around them. And this is the hope that comes after that. That's a very weird thing to hope for. 5 of Pentacles. Taurus energy, abandonment, casting aside, leaving out in the cold, discarding, breakup energy. And then the 4 of Swords, which is a pause, a rest. It's Libra energy, stabilizing the mind. I did see him in the 8 of Swords as their central card. I've got the 8 of Swords out here grinding in circles on something with the Devil with that. That is obsessively grinding on the birth of something new, on this thing that I'm hoping for, which seems to be like breakup and going away energy. And then this 4 of Swords would be probably trying to calm their mind down so they can figure out what to do. Could sometimes, like I said, represent a person who has had a breakup, but they don't want to label it a breakup. They want to maintain the hope that it can be healed. So we're just going to call it a break instead. We're just taking a pause. We're not over yet. Which again would be part of the betrayal if that's not actually true. That's probably what's going on, because this unfair, unjust thing is tied to the idea of working on it. If they've told you that this isn't over, that we're going to correct it and put it back on track, and we're just on a break right now, honey. And that's probably why I see all this work on your side. You want to work on it because you probably think it's just a break, because that might be what they said. Either way, I'm clarifying the birth of some new thing in their life, probably the new relationship. And when I clarify that, I get the World, the Magician, and the 6 of Swords. The World is the final card of the Major Arcana. This represents the ending of one cycle, and at the same time, the beginning of the next cycle. In terms of zodiac signs, again, it represents the 4 fixed signs, just like the Wheel of Fortune does. Leo, Taurus, Aquarius, Scorpio. We have the Fool, the first card in the major arcana in the shared energy, and now we have the last card. This represents the full cycle between the two of you from beginning to end, and this is the end, and at the same time them starting over on the next new thing. The birth of something new, taking a blind leap of faith onto the next new thing. But then there's still this idea of holding on to something that they don't want to let go of as it pertains to being husband or money wise, one of the two. I did see quite a few pentacles over here. Well, I guess there's only, yeah, there's 3 pentacles in this first column, and probably something that they're not communicating to you with that Hermit card right there. The next clarifier for the Empress is the Magician. This is the master manifester. This is a person whose thoughts and actions have shaped the world around them to be in alignment with what their will desires. In other words, this is talking to me about the person whose thoughts and actions have shaped this whole situation I'm reading about. Their thoughts and actions have created the birth of something new, have created the ending of the cycle with you and the beginning of the next cycle. Probably got really overwhelming for them, but also their thoughts and actions are what created all this passionate messages, passionate communications going back and forth, this willingness to take the first step down a path toward this thing that there's all this overwhelming amount of desire for. Again, the first card, like I said, usually is their energy showing up over here because what they're doing is affecting you. What they're doing is this hot queen, this queen that they have all the passion, desire, and attraction for. They've created that situation. The final card to clarify that Empress is the 6 of Swords. This is Aquarius energy. It's about moving forward into calmer waters. It's the card that comes right after the 5 of Swords, which is the shared energy affecting you both. Betrayal, mental psychological pain. This card at its core is about moving away from that painful thing. It also implies, because it's the 6, that the painful thing has already occurred and it can't be changed now because it's already happened. The real power that you have here is in what do I do moving forward. I can't change the past. The only thing I have control of is the future moving forward. And this is about, do I carry the burden that this painful thing caused me into my future with me, so it keeps weighing me down and keeps holding me back and keeps me stuck in all this mental anguish, keeps me bound to something that's not healthy for me, keeps me in that spot where this toxic thing is in control of me and I feel like I don't have any control over it and I feel like I can't leave it and I'm in all this pain. Do I let that continue? Or do I carry the lesson that I learned from going through all this painful stuff forward with me? That way something like this doesn't happen again. Now, from their point of view, what they have done is create an ending and a new beginning. They've birthed a new connection. And what they're also creating is this moving forward, moving away from you. Even like the way it's laid on the table, it's moving in that direction away from your energy. This is about moving forward into the future, leaving something behind and moving forward. It's in the same row with, like, again, this first card can be reconciliation, recalibrating the thing. Maybe that's what they told you, but then the birth of something new happened and they're moving on. I think that's what they were probably hoping for the whole time, is hoping that this new thing panned out. Hoping that this new thing panned out. And then just exiting here. It's what this is looking like. So again, like, the real obstacle, there is nothing about this that feels like the 10 of Cups. Nothing about this feels like true love, happily ever after, happy fairy tale love connection. Doesn't seem anything at all like that. So there is no obstacle to overcome to get to this with this person. Because like I said, if you really have the legitimate 10 of Cups, this reading would have been entirely different than this. Most of the stuff that came out here would not come out. You're never going to be in the real true love and happily ever after with someone that births a new relationship while they're with you. it's you're never going to have this level of toxicity here, toxic attachment, feeling like something is controlling your happiness and the world that you want and controlling your choices about what you can do. You're never going to feel stuck and trapped and blocked in that. You're never going to have someone taking these foolish risks outside of the relationship and causing a betrayal and lying and cheating and sneaking around behind your back. It's just none of that adds up with the 10 of Cups. None of that does.